Welcome back to the channel. Today's IKEA hack upcycling of this old dresser that I purchased back in 2011. We're gonna give it a facelift and we're gonna put some really sweet legs on it as well. The legs are actually down here. Let's go ahead and show you those real quickly. These are really awesome. Let's go ahead and just show you that right now. So this is what they look like right here. Now this is a Besta unit I did this hack to. They also come in different colors as well. The ones over here actually had to be straight, and then the edges over here were these right here, where you just get that really nice modern look, really clean look. This is not going to be the finished product, still in production. So these are 6-inch legs here. They come with all the hardware. They come with little black pads on the bottom. I'll link this in the description box below. They were like a hair over 30 bucks, $31, $32 or so for 4 legs. Because this is gonna be a dresser and I actually put quite a bit of stuff in here, I'm actually gonna do 2 straight legs as well, kind of for a bracing factor, just like over here. So I'm gonna do one in the back and one up front as well. Now with the Besta, you can literally just screw that in the bottom, all down underneath with the straight ones and these side ones. The Besta unit has a thick bottom sheet. Unfortunately, the dressers do not, so we actually need to put some braces underneath it. I'm still waiting on Amazon to send my straight gold ones. Those are gonna arrive tomorrow. But in the meantime, tonight, we're gonna be putting on my champagne gold, and these are actually by Amazon Basics. These are 5 inches and 3/8. Now, if you've already noticed, we have a hole right here that needs to be filled and painted. I've mounted the first one on, as we can see right here, using the already drilled through hole. This is what the original poles look like, and I'm not against these. I was actually thinking about painting these, just like this here, painting those gold, but I picked these up 10 handles, and they're really super high quality, super thick, not hollow. Amazon Basics, again, I'll link these in the description box below. I picked these up like new condition from Amazon's warehouse deals, and I got these for like a little over $14, like $14.65. And they said it was like new, but it's brand new. Like the bag hasn't been opened, but since it's a returned item, they can't sell it as brand new. My first package, actually, a couple of the handles were pulled out of the package, but they were like new. Anyway, so what you got to do in this circumstance is you got to take off both these screws right here, obviously pull off the old one. We are not going to be using that hardware. This is the first one taken off. Go ahead and keep that. You can go ahead and upcycle something else with those, paint that. So we're going to take all those off. I got 8 drawers, 8 handles. And then what we're going to do here, this isn't screwed in really super tight, so I have access to that. And then we're going to get some spackle. You can use a couple different items. I'm just going to use the regular spackle, drywall spackle that goes from pink to white. But I'm going to be very careful not to get too much on the exterior portion because I just want to fill that hole and then swap a little bit of dark paint on there to hide that. But I will need to drill in, and I'm going to get out my little itty bitty level to make sure that's perfectly straight. I will need to make 1 drill hole and then use the provided hardware that comes with this handle and screw that in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're cutting in real quick to thank today's sponsor, which is Manscaped. If you guys have not already seen their new lineup of products, I highly and definitely recommend checking out their full lineup. Of course, they are most well known for their Manscaped Lawnmower body groomer, and they also have a great performance package, which includes boxers and all sorts of wonderful items. I'm actually wearing a pair of their boxers right now, and I love them. I have about probably maybe 9 to 11 sets of their boxers. They also have come out with 2-in-1 shampoo, chapstick, a straight razor, which is really cool, matte black, it's super sick, body wash, you name it. Now their Lawnmower 4.0 is their newest one with an LED light. It is washable, waterproof. You can use this in the shower. You can rinse it after you're done. I use this on my chest, my underarms, down below, trim up my legs. I use it everywhere. It is a great trimmer, small, compact as well, with a nice long battery life. And if you guys want 20% off plus free shipping on whatever you order, if you just get the straight razor, 20% off free shipping. If you just get the performance package, some boxers, whatever it might be, my direct link is the top link in the description box as the comments as well. That direct link will take you to Manscaped's website where it's gonna automatically apply that 20% off with free shipping for you. Add whatever you want to your shopping cart, check out, get your discount, get your newest awesome products by Manscaped. You won't regret it. And so once again, thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We're doing an LED light wood slat wall. Not fully, it has a little twist to it, so make sure you're subscribed for that. So check that out. And now let's get back. Okay, so that's what the spackle looks like. Just make sure that if you do accidentally, which you probably will, unless you're super, super careful, you might get a little haze. So go ahead and wipe that down with a little water. If you do get the spackle on the edges here, and here's what the inside looks like right here. I did it on both sides. If you don't care about the inside, you could leave that open hole there if you want to. But what that's gonna do is that when that dries white, then I'll go ahead and paint it. And so you won't be able to tell unless you're probably like super way up close. If you don't have any black paint, a black magic marker does the trick just fine. I've done that for scratches on this color IKEA. If you have white IKEA, just a little dapple of white paint and you're good to go. Okay, so before we do drill into these, we're gonna let that go ahead and fully dry. It's gonna dry really quickly. I just don't want any sawdust getting on that. And then that you'd be able to tell there's a little bit more paint there. So anyway, sawdust, MDF dust, bad dust, IKEA dust. You guys get the idea. Okay, so I'm gonna do that to every single handle. All right, so once again, we just use Dapt Dry Dex Spackling, the pink to white, a little 3-inch knife that I just used the corner on, damp napkin to tidy up around the edges here. No sanding needed. That is fully dry now, that's white. And what I did is just wiped it on with the edge of the little putty knife there. And if it's not perfect, which it's kind of hard to do on such a clean surface like that, then I just took my thumb, rubbed it over, make sure it was completely flat. Beautiful. Napkinned any excess up. That's looking absolutely stunning on both sides. So let me show you the easiest way to put on the handles here. Number one, not fully tightened down, but put on the left side. And then you're gonna grab a little dollop of painter's tape, fold it in half, so it's double-sided, stick it on right here. We're gonna stair step 3 different drill bits and we're gonna end on one a little larger than our actual bolt that we're gonna stick through that came with the hardware. And the reason why it's a little larger, for a little bit of wiggle room, just in case you drilled not precise. This is the same method I used on my nightstand drawers and it worked out absolutely fantastic. My beautiful puppy, it's actually her birthday today, so she is not a puppy anymore. She is 1 year old. Sweet thing, taking a little nap while daddy's working. Okay, so with that method, now you're gonna take the smallest drill bit and you're gonna poke your hole like this right here, right in the middle. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend that down like that, and it's gonna fit right in between there. Now we still needed to put a little dollop of paint on there, so you can do it now or you can do it after, whatever's more convenient for you. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now obviously you can still see that because I have a flashlight literally shining right on it. But when I turn off my camera's bright setting, you're not gonna be able to see that. You can blend it in the best possible way, but no one's gonna notice that, especially without a light shining 6 inches from it. Okay, now grab your level here. This particular one's pretty small. I'll try to link this in the description box below as well. But you wanna get it right on the, that's why you make it a little larger, the hole, than your actual bolt, so that when you do tighten it down, you can be a little bit precise. A little tricky with one hand here as I'm kind of scooting it down. Okay, once we get it beautiful, okay, nice and level right in the middle. Sorry about the flash. Actually, it's a little bit off. Right there is perfect. And with your other hand, hold that in place like this. If you swing it down, hold that in so it stays put. Now with that drill bit hole we've already poked through, our first drill bit is gonna go straight into that hole all the way through. And the reason why we're stair-stepping drill bits is this prevents tearing of the laminate on top of your IKEA. If for some reason it does, use a little more dollop of paint and dial it in a little bit cleaner. We'll show you that. Once you make your first hole, you can remove the tape here. Now we're gonna start with our second drill bit and work our way up. Okay, like I said, you can use a level, but this is the old hole right here. You don't want to go below the factory hole, even if it's slightly off level, especially if you're working with drawers like I am with glass. That glass comes up pretty close to these holes. If you hit it, you're going to shatter it. So definitely do not go below the factory hole and go very slow on that last entry. And actually what I would do is I would slightly, I'm talking about the very slightest, instead of the drill bit going straight, very, very slight of a lean. What you're doing is you're just trying to stay away from the glass. If you don't have glass drawers, then level it out, get it on in there. Okay, so with that said, this is what the back of it looks like here, and I stair-stepped up my drill bits, remember, to 3, and then I kind of just dimple this in, and then insert your bolt like that, and then of course, any flares will be pressed in, as you can see, just like this here. But I do have to back that out just slightly to get this in, and then let's go ahead and screw it on in. Oh man, that looks good. I do need to put a little bit of black paint up there on that one. Besides that, I mean, that just absolutely looks stunning. If you want to go larger, you can get the bigger ones. I think these look extra sharp, but just know if you do go larger, the space might be a little bit off where it wouldn't look completely centered, especially if you use one of the original holes. So that way you would have to spackle, wood putty 2 holes, and then go on the outskirts of the original holes. I just thought this was easier. Again, already use this for my nightstands right here. So with that in mind, we need to take out the drawers, flip it over, put on some braces for our feet. All right, drawers are out. Let's go ahead and flip it on over so we can go ahead and look at the bottom. I've laid down a nice little towel for padding. All right, so again, this is definitely different than the Besta unit, which is super simple. So this is the back over here. This is the front portion right here. And as you can see, even if you put a lot of pressure on this, this is kind of flimsy. This is just a little straight bar that goes all the way across. So even if you got different furniture feet, that kind of 90-degree angle gold one, you'd be putting a lot of pressure on this. And that's just not, again, that's kind of flimsy in the front here. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put a brace, a piece of wood right in this corner right here. Then we're going to remove these little pads right here. And then our furniture feet are going to go inside like this. And you can get pretty close if you really, really want to. But we want a majority of the weight. You could use these 2 screws and go into here, but we want majority of the weight back over here, braced into the side here, and then mounted on our piece of wood right here. So I don't even think that gold piece will actually show because of the drawer. I might have to do a little specification look at it, because if I do see a little hit of that underneath, that's going to look really sharp. Let me explain. So this one, I can't see anything because of the door. So if the drawer blocks it, there's no point in putting it all the way up there. You might as well just put it right there. And what that's going to do is that's just going to push this back. Look at how sharp that already looks right there. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our braces in. Now remember, we're going to be using 4 of these, 1, 2, 1 in the back, 1 and 2 over here on that side. But then in the middle, which is definitely a nice thicker piece, we're going to be using 2 straight ones here. And obviously I'm going to remove these as well. And I'm going to bring that forward, push that one back. And what that's going to do is, because you believe it or not, clothes are super heavy. I mean, that drawer with my jeans is probably like 20 plus pounds, just that drawer alone. And the reason why we're using straight ones is because obviously with this little angle here, you can't use that up front. I mean, you could if you really wanted to, if you wanted to have a look like that, but the drawers might get in the way. So I prefer that. Like that, and then the straight ones in the middle here. We will, of course, need to be put a little piece of scrap wood on each side. The majority of the weight is going to go right on the middle, and then it's going to screw into the side brackets. So let's go ahead and get started on our first corner piece. And just a little heads up for you here, I put a drawer in upside down, so I got to kind of hold it up here. So it actually looks like that will be exposed. So if you do want that little bit of hit of gold down at the bottom, then go ahead and slide it forward, mount 2 screws in right here and here on the flimsy piece. But again, majority of the weight is going to be on this edge right up against here, and then our side bracket we'll go ahead and screw in right here. And that's if you are looking at it from down below, that's what you're gonna get. I really like that look actually, so I'm gonna keep it like that. All right, there's a couple different ways to mount this. Now, this is just a scrap piece of wood I used before, but I actually cut it down, that's why there's holes in there. So this is approximately maybe 3-4 inches max. This one is slightly smaller. Again, this is just scrap 2x4 I already had. You either have a couple different options. You can cut one down to size so it's perfect. That goes all the way across, sits flush in the back like this, so it's just one long piece. I prefer two smaller ones like this. So this is how I'm gonna be bracing it, just like this. So a couple different options. A, you can drill 2 holes down the 2x4 and have a long enough screw that screws in from back here and here. I do it at 2 different points. And it's a super long screw that goes all the way through the 2x4 and then goes about halfway into the IKEA dresser unit. Obviously, you don't want it to stick out the other side. The other option is if you don't have that already on hand and you already have a brad nailer, then I would do 2-inch brad nails. I would do like 3 or 4 brad nails on this side, 3 or 4 brad nails on this side, cover it up with wood putty, do a little dollop of black paint as well. Totally up to you. I might do both. I might only do one. I'll let you know. All right, this is going to give you an example. I'm actually going to sink these screws in just a little bit to get a little bit more length, but not much at all. That's about halfway into the IKEA. Again, I'm going to drill all the way through the 2x4. I actually cut a sliver of the 2x4 off on this side here, not only to get a straighter edge. You just got to be a little careful with your miter saw because it's kind of a small chunk of wood. So definitely have a brace holding that down so your fingers are out of the way. And then also on this, I'm going to mark it so I have one screw going in between these two. I don't want to intersect into these holes here. So I'm going to have one going right between here and then the other one coming in right over here. All right, in this circumstance, I like to start the screws all the way in almost, and we're gonna go ahead and save it for when I get it right up against the edge right here, nice and flush. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands, be right back with you. Alrighty, now if you feel a little bit more comfortable, totally up to you. Remember, all the weight is gonna be on the actual stand part. This is just for the mounting part right here. Once that's secured on, the edge right here, which originally is taking all the weight, is gonna retake the weight and pivot it right down the furniture leg. So we're looking absolutely fantastic here. You don't necessarily need all this if you don't want to, but remember, I would screw one in right here and one in right here. Could use a little bit of wood glue right down the middle as well. You could use liquid nails. You could brad nail in on this side and this side as well. But what I like about the 2 screw method, it's easily removable if you ever did sell this piece and wanted to flip-flop the furniture legs onto a different piece of furniture. So now let's get the hardware that came with the furniture legs and mount the first one in. All right, we're gonna pre-drill these 4 holes. All right, for the middle ones here, we are using very thin, I'd say that's probably a hair over an inch on each side. This is scrap 2x4 once again with 2-inch screws going this way and staggering them a little bit so obviously the screws don't butt up against each other. So this one's over here, and they're crisscrossing but not hitting each other, so to speak. So I staggered the drill holes just a little bit, pre-drilled, and now that is really nice and secure. We have these 2 on, of course, and so this is going to be just the same as over there because I want the gold edge matching up, centering right over this little center post right here. Middle of the drawers will meet right in here, so I want this centered up perfectly. I want the edge visible, just like we discussed over here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pre-drill these holes, screw that in. This one doesn't have to be all the way against the back, but I'll probably do it all the way against the back here. Remember, the grunt of the load is gonna be right on the center, just like it was before. All right, I actually use shorter ones over here on this side. And for safety purposes, especially if you're mitering, I think I already mentioned it in the video or so, but take a longer scrap piece and then chop them down instead of like trying to chop down this. Just keep your hands away from the blade. Be careful. I prefer a width like this compared to this. I just feel like this is too big. If I could redo it, I would make this one the same size as these 2 here. Anyway, the middles are on. Everything is cleaned up. Vacuum the sawdust out. Now, let's carefully bring it down and flip it around. This is where a helper would come into play. Even though these are bolted on, you don't want to put any weight on these legs, like bending them if you're trying to do it yourself. This, dresser's not too heavy. I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up. So I'm gonna put the camera down, use 2 hands, and muscle this thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that turned out really awesome. Super impressed with it. Champagne, gold handles, gold feet. Raised up the dresser number 1 to center it over my bed. I do need to scoot it over just a little bit. Sitting flush on the floor, this vent register for my furnace was blocking it. Now I'm able to scoot that over. Super stunning as we see the look gold on the dark IKEA like that. The handles are looking stunning as we can see. Gold accents. I got a glass top on here if you are wondering. It's kind of funny because I have had this dresser for such a long time that because now it's raised up, I'm actually grabbing it like this instead of reaching down because again, it is lifted up 6 inches. I am going to be mounting a television right up here or a mirror, but overall, it's an absolute stunning piece. Hit that thumbs up button, guys, if you enjoyed the video, enjoyed the IKEA hack. Check out the channel for the accent wall, slat wall, IKEA nightstand. Still working on the IKEA closet. Added some handles to that, some feet. Working this out for how I want to design it. Thank you again for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification on your way out. We'll see you on the next one. Once again, your links are below, and thank you to Manscaped again for sponsoring this video. Don't let the party stop, guys. Hit one of these videos, continue to watch, and we'll see you soon.